We're tired of standing by as conservatives. We're told to stay silent. We're told to stay down, not voice our views or else we're going to get attacked.
But imagine how tired we are.
I know the economy is getting worse and worse because more and more of my Uber drivers have been white. And this is terrifying, all right? Is the economy in shambles? What's happening? Do you know the terror that goes through my heart when I open up Uber and it says Spencer will be there in 3 minutes? I'm like,
Hello, brothers and sisters. Now, most of the white folks who voted for Donald Trump are coming out to say that they are tired. They're tired with the orange man, and they're tired with the fact that they are getting bankrupt every other day, that the economy is collapsing and it is not doing good as they thought things will be on their side. They are now coming out to ask the black community and some of the minority communities like Indians to come and chip in and help them from droning back to poverty. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Right? That's always the scariest part of slipping into authoritarianism, that authoritarianism is somehow more stable. I think luckily for this democracy in what we're seeing right now is Donald Trump does not ever want stability. He wants constant instability. He sees his ability to gain power by creating unstable moments, and it does keep his base united around him. But that instability is why I think voters have basically been very fickle about him, right? They like some of the things he identifies, like even what he said about the UN. I don't know what it's for. Look, I'm frustrated by how the UN works. The idea of the UN is great. Its execution is not good. In some ways it's there, but there are aspects of the UN that work really well. It does a great job of feeding the world. A better job than if we didn't have it, we'd have to create a place to do it. And I know by saying it does a good job, I'll have people coming in. It doesn't do this. I hear you. Okay. But it's better than any other entity that we have. And certainly on global health, the WHO is, if we didn't have it, we'd want it. And the fact that we're, as the United States, trashing it and weakening it is actually weakening it for the entire world. It's creating more instability and more chaos, which, by the way, if the world had a vote, they're voting against this, right? They don't like this instability that the United States has created, right? Tariffs is another way that he has created nothing but instability, especially for small business. If you're a small business owner, even if you make your product or do most of your service, your product is quote unquote American made in some form or another, your supplies are likely still coming from abroad. So, and many folks are finding this out the hard way, right? But the on again, off again tariffs, you can't even budget for it, right? Because you don't know what's on, what's off. Is this country got tariffs of this size today? Well, maybe I ought to try to import from this country. So the lack of certainty, he's upending small business. We all remember this, right? The biggest criticism from the business community during Obamacare was, he's creating instability in the market. And that was, well, I do buy the idea that business doesn't like instability. And Donald Trump has introduced nothing but instability to the financial markets and to the world of consumer products, right? So, and then he's done this on foreign policy. So the point is that I really believe that this is his biggest vulnerability, and because it's a vulnerability he doesn't know how to address, right? He doesn't know how to preach unity. Look at the Charlie Kirk funeral. You have this incredibly moving and for many people religious moment by Erica Kirk, and then Donald Trump comes up there.
So I'm not really sure how I made it over to the white men crying on video about their finances side of TikTok. But I was over there for a little bit. And at first I was like laughing because it's like FAFO, right? Because like y'all voted for this and now it's affecting you. But then I started to think like these are normally the people that and so to see them online in this much disarray where they're on video crying in full tears about their finances and how mad they are. Y'all be safe out here.
What's good? It's your man, Mr. Woke, and I got something to say. They say Rome was a powerful, powerful nation or country or whatever the fuck it is. But it destroyed itself, doing too damn much. Instead of saying that Rome was great until they came up with the dumbass government. The government destroyed Rome. Plain and simple. America. This place could be the fucking place that it's supposed to be. Except for government. Government is about to destroy America. 2023 is about to be really bad for America. It's sad, but it's true. It's finna be a reckoning. It's finna be a reckoning. And it ain't gonna be the black people's starting shit. Because we always make it about the poor black. What about the poor white people? You ain't think they fed up with this bullshit? Huh? You don't think that? Well, let me school you. They fed up with it too. They done had just as much done to them as we have. Plain and simple. We seem to overlook the poor whites. We call them white trash and this and that. We should be calling them brothers. Because they poor in the same fucking situation that we in. But 2023, they're going to show their ass. And guess what? I'm going to be there to back them up. I'm going to be there, goddamn flags are waving. Goddamn, what you call them? With my sign, my picketing sign and everything. We finna go. I'm going to be right there with them. That being said, before I end this, I want to remind you that poor white people stormed the Capitol. Poor white people. They stormed the fucking Capitol. So, they don't give a damn about government. Just as much as the next man don't give a damn for government. Now, with that being said, I'm with you 100% when it comes to making shit right. We all got our different forms of what we think is right. But I'm pretty sure if we all come together, it's all going to end up being the same thing. That being said, it's your man, Mr. Smoke. I'm out. Peace.
Hey, good morning to everybody. Daryl P here, aka Artist in Recovery. This morning I was going through the news and I really didn't find anything that grabbed my attention to do a spoken word video for, but I want to share a 100% true story with you guys. And at first it was uplifting. I thought, finally, a crack in this Trump supporter ice. And, well, let me tell you the story. Okay, so I had to get a tune-up in my car yesterday. I went early in the morning, about 9 a.m., dropped my car off, and there's a McDonald's right down the street in the small town next to the city where I live. That's a small town of about 5,000 people. And I went to the McDonald's there. And I sat down, and I was going through my phone, having a hot chocolate. And I actually ended up sitting, a lot of older guys came in, and I realized I was sitting in the old man corner, like where all the older guys gather, like these old, like boomers, I guess you'd call them. So about 5 or 6 older guys gathered around and started sitting and talking. One thing I noticed is I saw these guys walk in with empty McDonald's soda glasses, and I couldn't believe this part. Each one of them went up to the soda machine, like they went on the soda machines on the side where the registers cash registers, the people can't really see them, and they filled up their sodas. So they were actually stealing sodas, but has nothing to do with the story. Okay, so they start talking, and 2 of them end up sitting there longer than the others. And they start engaging me a little bit as I'm listening to their conversation. They're talking about Donald Trump, and they're obviously Trump supporters, or they were. The thing that amazes me is they were bad-mouthing Trump. They don't like him now. This is basically what they said. It was basically his arrogance and his greed that seems to be getting to them. They mentioned Argentina and the $40 billion going there. The treatment of the American farmers. This is stuff that made them angry. The treatment of American farmers. One thing I've been hearing a lot of too is the treatment of U.S. vets. They're upset with the way Trump is treating vets. And I didn't notice that myself lately, but it's something I heard a lot of yesterday. Oh, and this was big, the White House, tearing down the White House. They were very upset about that. Okay, so I'm listening to this conversation, but it's still tinged with little MAGA stuff, like, you know, they're still blaming immigrants for stealing health care and stealing this and that and making their lives miserable. You know, so there's still the basic Trump Foundation belief, racist belief in there, but they don't like him. You know, they do not like him at all. And this is the part that I almost choked on my soda when I was listening to them at this point, because this is what they said. You know, because I was kind of looking amazed when they said this stuff, you know, because I've been saying this for 10 years. And this is what they said. They said, how could we have known? You know, everybody was fooled by him. Everybody, this is exactly what they said. Everybody loved him. Everybody believed him. He was such a good phony and a liar. He fooled us all. Nobody knew. Nobody could have known. And I almost choked on my effing soda. You know, they haven't, you know, did they just tune out like all the late night hosts, all this stuff on CNN, what half the country has been saying for the last 10 years? You know, they were serious. They were 100% serious. You know, I don't know if they were trying to absolve themselves of guilt or what, but they were like, you know, how could we have known? He fooled everybody. Nobody, they actually said this. Nobody knew. Nobody knew what a greedy, arrogant piece of shit he was. Unbelievable. All right, now here's where I kind of lost my my hope. They've kind of gone from Trump to Trump light. They don't like Trump, but they started talking about who they do like. They do like little Marco, they called him, Marco Rubio. Oh, and they love J.D. Vance. Wouldn't J.D. Vance make a great president? This is exactly what they said. They said that whenever J.D. Vance is on TV, he answers the questions so quickly. He's so smart and so quick. You know, he's right on the ball. He answered. I swear to God, this is what they said. You know, and I'm keeping quiet. You know, I'm like, of course. You know, he was probably on Fox News or on Newsmax. You know, and you know, they tell him ahead of time what they're going to ask. You know, of course he's answering the questions easily. You know, he knows what the questions are going to be. You know, so at first I was enthusiastic, but then when I discovered that they're just, you know, they haven't changed their belief system at all. They just realized what a POS Donald Trump is. Why it hits them now after, why it took the White House being torn down to finally make a light bulb go on, I don't know. But hey, I guess I guess late's better than nothing. Late's better than never, I guess. A little too effing late. Have a good Friday.
White people were the first people to be subjugated under white supremacy. If you don't understand history, that won't make sense to you. But Europe was at war for centuries. Why? Because the British and the Spanish elites viewed Nordics, Celtics, and Welsh as savage people who needed to be civilized. The same excuse they have used to subjugate all people, right? In order for European elites to subjugate the rest of the world, they first had to subjugate Europeans. Without the subjugation of the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh, white supremacy would have been essentially impossible. The system didn't start off as white versus non-white. It started off as Celts versus Saxons, Catholic versus Protestant, peasant versus aristocrat. There has always been an ethnic, religious, and class-based hierarchy inside of white supremacy. As the subjugated grew bigger than the subjugators, then came the creation of white, right? A way to racially pacify an also burdened group or subjugated group of people. Because initially, the concept of white and black did not exist. They created that concept so that white people would be pacified and side with the elites, so that European people would side with the elites instead of African and indigenous people. Without the concept of whiteness, subjugated would have outruled the subjugators. What did they do? They created this whole class of a right to liberty, right to bear arms, right to pursue freedom of happiness. Also, that white people were ingrained with this ideology that they were a human entitled to something that African and indigenous people were not entitled to. A racial bribe, per se. Without this concept, elites wouldn't have a foot to stand on. Capitalism would be non-existent. White supremacy would be non-existent. It gave white people power under white supremacy over people of color, but ultimately, they too are still subjugated. It's only when white people break from the subjugation of whiteness, right? The mind control that whiteness has on their mind, that is when white supremacy will be destroyed, right? They were the first to be subjugated, right? They will be the last to be subjugated because they have been the most pacified by the concept. When white people are tired of being subjugated, then white supremacy will fall. Also, don't forget to follow me on YouTube and follow me on here because I love talking about socialization and how it intersects with basically everything and how we are in this predicament that we are.
So all of the pro-Trump farmers are now losing their farms. They don't have any income coming in. They're begging the president to save the farm as if they didn't prioritize white supremacy over their economic status. Time and time again, history shows us that white people rather be superior to minorities, but poor. Once America was industrialized, slavery was not economically beneficial for America, for the South. The South was very behind compared to the North. These people were content with being poor as long as they could be superior than black people, as long as they could be racist. And now we see the same thing happening today. You people voted for racism, and now you're broke.
The reason they want a recession is because when a recession happens, the economy plummets, a bunch of companies go bankrupt, and only the oligarchs have the money left over to buy up everything when it's being sold for a fraction of its actual worth. If the whole economy goes under, only a small group of people are wealthy enough, not only to be okay, but to start buying and accumulating. They take advantage of people's desperation by buying up all these properties that are being liquidated, so that when the economy rebounds, before maybe they own, let's just say 1% of the economy, but then when everything gets cheap, they have less money in an absolute sense, but everything else is dirt cheap. So they buy, and then when the economy goes back up, now they own 2% of the economy. Yeah, recessions are good for people who, have the hunger and who are, willing to buy, and they have the capital. Will this recession affect other countries or just the EU and America? It'll affect the entire world.
Is white people tired of being scammed by people with GoFundMe accounts? Let me explain. Every time black people start a GoFundMe account, white people donate the most money. If they find out it's a scam, like Black Lives Matter, I never hear them asking for their money back. A black lady used her friend kids that she was babysitting and made a video that went viral and said her and her 3 kids is about to get evicted. She set up a GoFundMe and raised $240,000 in one day. Most of that money came from white people, but most white people didn't ask for a dime back when they found out it was a scam. The woman that scammed everybody on GoFundMe, she didn't have no kids. She kept that $240,000 and didn't give a dime to the mother of them children. Some black people is quick to call white people racist, but soon as they fall on hard times and they have to set up a GoFundMe, it's strange. You never see on they GoFundMe no white racist people donate. I wonder why. Let me guess. If you waiting on Pookie, Keisha, or Ray Ray, your GoFundMe will die of starvation. If black people continue with these GoFundMe scams, white and black people will stop donating. And it will hurt the people that's real victims.
Hey, I've been seeing a lot of shit about, white people tired of niggas saying racist shit. White people tired of, racist shit being brought up. Niggas saying that they racist and shit like that, bro. Even if the nigga is right about you being racist or wrong about you being racist in the situation, how the fuck can you blame that man for thinking a white person is racist? Nigga. It's like you niggas forgot about slavery and how long that shit lasted and how long y'all beat the shit out of us, sold the shit out of us, raped the shit out of us, nigga, cut our hands off, cut our feet off, cut our dicks off, nigga. Man, what the fuck is you speaking on, man? I'll forever slide and ride for my niggas, man, on guard, bro, till I'm gone, man. For real, bro. We just want what's right out here. And yes, we still traumatized, nigga, so your bitch ass gonna be racist as soon as we get a hit of any type of racism, nigga. Don't give a fuck if your wife is black. Don't give a fuck if your kids is black, nigga. Show me type time. That's what niggas is gonna be on. Not saying me, but nigga, I don't give a fuck about none of that, bro. Y'all still racist out here. It's just behind closed doors. Why come as soon as you post something on the internet, the first comment, nigga, gonna be on some racist shit, bro? All the racist shit come out on the internet. And we can agree that these intrusive thoughts and shit like that, it comes out on the internet. Nigga, I'm not walking down the street in this white ass city I'm in. I'm not walking down the street and white folks coming up to me talking about N-word with the ER. They'll get their bitch ass beat up, shot, killed, all that. On the internet, they gonna pop that. They gonna pop that because they can do that. Y'all still out here. And in real life too, I was just saying that out here, I don't run into that. But there's places that I can run into that. You feel me? Just racist ass white folks. You feel me? So bro, don't ever forget about what the fuck y'all did to us, man. How y'all, man, go do some research, man. Slavery was not that long ago, my nigga. They still finding motherfuckers in motherfuckers' basements and shit like that, man. Wake the fuck up, man. I ain't sparing no white person, nigga. I'm just saying, that nigga's 100. To my white folks out there that know me, y'all already know what's up with me, my nigga. Y'all already know it ain't not one racist bone in my body, man. But I gotta let this shit be known. To my niggas who letting y'all know that they feel like y'all racist, man, give them niggas the benefit of the doubt and shut the fuck up and know that they got a space that they coming from. That's a valid space, if that's making sense, bro. You feel me?
So this is a comment that was left on another comment I made on a video about acid being thrown into pools where black kids were. And first of all, I was amazed on this video how many people had never heard of this. But he said, and I said, why are you so upset about hearing about this? It's history. And he says, because like many white people that are tired of hearing how evil we are, yeah, people in my grandfather's generation did some evil stuff. And I said to him, well, do you not understand the historical context really applies to what's going on in current day? And he said, yeah, because tell me about the whites only pool. Well, that's not it, babe. It's think critically. All right, my dear? So in like the 50s and 60s and 70s, things like this happened not just there. It happened a lot of places. Because of that, what do you think happened? Black kids didn't go to pools. And out of that grew a stereotype that black people can't swim. Why? Because our parents or grandparents' generation were worried about things like this happening. Or even if they weren't worried about things like this happening, the pools in their neighborhoods got closed down. So now a whole stereotype has been created that still persists today about the fact that black people can't swim. And really horrible things have been said about that. About the fact that black people can't swim. Now, I've been able to swim since I was 6 years old. My daughter became a lifeguard when she was 17. So let's already put that aside. But there are initiatives to make sure that black kids can swim because that's part of what is called historical trauma. Now, also, this explains why we get super excited when a black girl comes in first or scores gold in a swimming competition. And people like you say, what's such a big deal? because a black girl scored a gold or scored high in a swimming competition, even though this that you're so upset that just maybe your grandfather did has persevered through generations. So yeah, it is a big deal. And it is more than whites or black only fucking pools and parks. But y'all want to get so upset. What your grandfather did impacts my daughter. Think critically, learn real history, and think critically, and you won't need critical.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really do hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. For a very long time, we've been seeing people voting in a way to punish others. Now, this should actually be a lesson to all of the people who are out here and trying to be racist, trying to use their color or their skin color to the advantage of others. Now, let's talk this for a while. That the US has been facing segregation for the longest time. You remember they even passed laws which were very discriminatory, back in the years. They were called the Jim Crow laws, where the minority group were not allowed to mingle or to go to school with the white people. Now, that happened for years. And for a very long time, the black people, together with some of the minority communities in the US, had a difficult time, getting along with their white counterparts. Now, that happened, and people have never since learned. People never learn, of course. They do not learn from history. And history is going to judge white America very harshly. If this continues the way it is today, we are going to see a country which is collapsing. Most of the people in the US right now feel like the country is not heading into the right direction. Majority of them are actually taking a swipe at their own government, saying that the government has failed in delivering services back to the people, that the people's taxes are being misused by those who have been trusted to hold the taxes or to budget for the taxes. Now, this is whatever the US never saw coming, that there will come a time when their own systems will never favor them again. The white people have always, some of them have been receiving privileges at job places, schools, everywhere they go, in social places, economic forums, and everywhere the political class, they have always been receiving favors and privileges, not because they deserve them, but because their color permits them to have those privileges. Now, we're living in the 21st century. A lot of things have changed. We are seeing the black people coming out and the minority groups like Indians coming out strong. They are doing businesses and they are making it in the US. Some of them are even becoming millionaires and billionaires in a country that has oppressed them for a very long time. For a fact, majority of the white folks now think it is the black community that can save them from the disaster they are seeing in the US at the moment. Do you really think it is factual for the black community to now come in and start offering their help to the white community? Do you really think it is fair enough for the black community without reparations, with all this segregation, police brutality, mass incarcerations? They should just come in and start helping the white community. Now, let's go back to time 1 year ago. Rural America took the US by a storm in the political arena. They went and voted MAGA. They wanted to see people being kicked out of whatever they term as their country. Now, later on, we are seeing most of them crying out to the same people they wanted them kicked out to help them, help them in their farms, help them fight bankruptcy, and all that is happening in the US at the moment. Do you really think it is fair enough for the black people to assume all that they have gone through in the US just to come in and help? Now, yes, they can help, but have they been helped when they were in dire crisis, when they needed that help? Did someone offer to help them? Did someone show up to help them? The black community has been going around asking for a justice. You remember there are a lot of black folks, melanated folks who have been taken down by the system, and justice has never been found. Justice has never been given to them. Justice delayed is almost justice denied. So, this is whatever has been happening in the US. They have not cared about the black community and the minorities. But when things are falling apart for them at the moment, when they feel like their country is heading in the wrong direction, this is when we are seeing a large number of them coming out to claim that the black community should chip in and help them fight the same government they created, fight the same person they voted for without even thinking twice. Rural America was going crazy about MAGA. Some of them say that they want money in their pockets, and the easiest way to do that is to deport illegal immigrants, you know? And the easiest way to do that is to deport all those who have been in the US for the longest time. Now, they even wanted those who were working for them to be deported. Look at the situation right now. Tariffs everywhere. China is now going to buy soybeans from Brazil. Initially, China used to trade with white farmers from the US, or just farmers from the US. But check the uh, the metrics at the moment. China's economy is skyrocketing. Now, it has been getting a lot of support from other countries from Africa, Middle East, and southern part of America. Now, look at the US today. It has lost its friends. Crisis everywhere. The political instability in the US is getting out of hand. You know, most of the people do not even feel safe in their country anymore. A lot of insecurities. Is this a curse from God? Is God avenging for his own people um, who have been prosecuted by this government for a very long time? Is the system failing or collapsing because we are seeing the economy is just crumbling? The economy of on paper is different from the economy the people experience. And the best way to gauge the economy is to use the people. How do the people feel about the rate at which they are getting the cash flow? You know, how do people rate the rate at which they can pay their rent, they can pay their bills on time? But whenever people are complaining that they cannot afford basic commodities, you know the country is failing, you know the country is going to be bankrupt. If not bankrupt, it means the people are suffering. You can't have a great economy when the people are crying. So who benefits from this economy if it's not the same people who are crying? The economy should be gauged by the happiness or by the satisfaction of the people, not by what billionaires and millionaires and the political class think of the economy. It is the people at the lowest pyramid, at the lowest side of the pyramid feel. How do the people feel down there? Not the people at the top. The people at the top are in position to loot, misuse your taxes. So how do they feel where the economy presses them the most? They can't feel, of course. But the people who pay the taxes, the people who work 3 to 4 shifts a day to pay their bills, know where it presses them the most. So the US economy is a good economy on paper as we talk at the moment. Whatever the White House says and the president says and the people close to the president. But go ask the people, is the economy doing well? Majority, 70% of the people will say no, the economy is heading to the wrong direction, and henceforth the country is not doing good. So this is a time when we should embrace unity. when we should embrace love. When the US economy is collapsing and failing and the people asking for help from any other minority groups, you know things are not doing good for most of the people in the US. And that means the people are actually suffering. So it is our duty, it is our solemn duty to unite, speak one language of unity, and then face the political class as one, not as a divided pact. Whenever you divide yourself, your power goes back to the political class. They do not care. They do not even follow the constitution. They keep on amending the constitution to fit their own needs. They keep on adjusting and bringing new bills to fit their greed. So it is you and your brothers and sisters who can save your country from collapsing, who can save your brothers and sisters from the crisis they're having at the moment. Whenever you are divided as the black community, whenever you are divided as the Latinos, as Hispanics, as Indians, then you are done. You are doomed, because the system fears unity and it thrives in division. So when you divide yourselves, the system is going to thrive well. It is actually going to do well. So this should be a wake-up call to anyone watching this video today, that you need your brothers and sisters. No man is an island at all. And any man who is an island is destined for failure. Thank you for having taken your time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. If it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, commenting, and liking, so that this video might reach a bigger audience. So this message should not only reach you, but reach others too. Thank you.